purpose of promoting the racing pigeon sport, I conduct interview and loft visits around the nation. And today we are here in Utah to conduct an interview and a loft visit with one of the most successful racing pigeon fanciers in the nation, Mr. Ryan Jones of Utah Racing Pigeon Club, right?
That's Salt Lake Invitational.
Salt Lake Invitational. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, to be interviewed for, to interview you for the for our YouTube channel. Well, our promotion or my YouTube channel is to promote the racing pigeon sport around the nation, especially the club racing.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And we would agree that the club racing is the number of membership is declining, and thankfully there are people like you, like the other fanciers who continue to promote the racing pigeon sport. And now, Ryan, can you tell me how long you've been doing this sport, pigeon racing?
I've grown up doing it since I was a little guy.
Okay, so you inherited it from your dad?
Yeah, my dad and my grandfather were both racing pigeon flyers as well, and so I'm a third generation flyer.
Okay, and so what are the things that important things growing up, seeing your father, doing this type of hobby?
I would say the camaraderie and the friendships built and all of the times had with the club and everything. Absolutely, it's what drove me to get into the sport. I mean, I love the pigeons, but yeah, the whole camaraderie and joy of it together.
Do you happen to know how many clubs do you have here in Utah?
In the state of Utah, we've got 9 clubs that are just like here from, like you were just down at Joe Nemelka's, like, so from his area up to the north, you'll be heading up to Ken Christopher's.
Okay.
There's a total of nine clubs, 5 which between Utah County and Salt Lake County that send on our trailer week to week. Actually, the concourse is with the 5 clubs. Utah County has their own combine, Salt Lake County has their own combine, and Northern Utah has their own combine.
I'm about to ask, because back in the day, there's like the federation.
Well, there was never a federation here. In fact, there were so many flyers at one point in time, it was not the Great Salt Lake Combine, it was the Great Salt Lake Center.
Okay.
Because there was over 100 and some odd lofts back when my dad and my grandfather, in the early 70s, late 60s and stuff like that, when they were flying. Utah County has joined with us on our trailer and everything for cost reasons, efficiency and everything like that, effectiveness. And we've created the concourse because our birds released at the same time, so we want everybody to see the results of all the birds together.
So your grandfather, he was born and raised here in Utah?
No, he was born in Midland, Texas.
Midland, Texas, and moved here in Utah? And
after he married my grandmother.
This is where he started the pigeon, or in Midland, Texas?
Actually, my dad started the pigeons here, and my grandpa had to join the club in order for them to join, because my dad was, a minor.
Okay. Oh, okay. So your dad wants to join, but there's no choice because for your grandpa to join.
Right. So he needed to join in order for them to get in. Yes.
Well, which is nice, right?
Yes.
And then growing up, you're seeing your grandpa and then your father, doing this type of hobby. So what are the most important things that you've learned from your grandfather and your father when it comes with taking care of the pigeons?
Oh, I would just say that it teaches you to, good stick-to-itiveness, you know what I mean? Follow through, taking pride in what you do, dedication, having the desire, and yeah.
So you caught the pigeon bug while you're young?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, we're holding here some birds. Are these some of your flyers?
Yes, these are right off of the race team that flew this year. We just got done with our 12 races literally earlier this week. So,
okay. And what are the qualities of, this is 2023, right? For example, if you will acquire some pigeons, what are the things that you consider the physical quality without seeing the pedigree yet?
Sure.
So what are the things that you can share with our viewers?
You want to make sure that the pigeon has a nice physique. I mean, if you hold the bird, You're going to see that she's got a nice physique to her and everything like that. The Pigeon has super feather quality. Both, we can change. You feel the feather quality of both of them are as
like the
equal.
color of this one. If they can, let's go closer here. Look at the color of this. What do you call this color?
So this is right out of our Indigo line, so our old HVRs. She's a red Andalusian and she carries an opal factor.
Okay. This is nice. Look at this.
And she has placed in the points, I think, 8 times this year out of the 9 races that I sent her to, all the way out to as far as 400 miles.
So this is Indigo. Let me show the bird.
Red Andalusian.
Red Andalusian. So what can you tell about this one? This is a HBR. And here's the thing. If someone say about the name Ryan Jones, the first thing that came to their mind is HVR. So how did you end up with the HVR bloodline as your stock bird?
So my dad, back in the 80s, went to Whittier, California, and was visiting with my Uncle Jay, who also raced pigeons.
Okay.
My mom's brother.
Okay.
And one of the fanciers in his club, in the Compton Club, had this family of pigeons, and they went over to visit with him. And my dad fell in love with them, bought a couple of pigeons, and
in California.
And that became the base to our Huskin Van Reel, which is what HVR stands for, Huskins Van Reel pigeons. But yep, that was the start of it, and that was in the 80s. And at that time, my dad had a lot of Emile type pigeons, and with the Van Reels being there, they just basically the Emiles just kept getting pushed out, and more of the Van Reels that we were flying, and then we ended up acquiring some that the guys had gone over and visited with to Jeff Van Reel or George Van Reel directly in Belgium, and brought back some, and then my dad ended up acquiring those and mixing the 2 lines together, and that's what our bloodline is all about.
That's the beauty about this racing pigeon sport. Each fanciers has their own preference. For example, Craig Nidever is Jamal Jansen. John Emelka, he has his own baseline.
Sure.
And now you also have your own baseline.
Right.
Right. And then we maintain that baseline and not develop, but maintain, or we can say develop, more bloodline, winning bloodline out of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. We brought in, so that was in the 80s that we started with the Van Reels. Then in the 90s, we brought in the Van Loon line, and which basically we stuck with those 2 lines for a long time. We had a couple other little splishy splash in there for a little bit, but it was back in 2011. We were down in Arizona for the AU convention, and my dad fell in love with the Gaston Van de Weer Casbour line that Dennis Branham had, and we acquired a few of those, and then acquired more birds from Gaston directly out of his auction. And during that auction, we also found that the Johann de Belser birds were pretty critical in his breeding and everything, so we acquired some of those and brought them in. So that's what we've got is the Casbour, de Belser, Van Loon, and HVRs, and we're...
So when you breed for your race team, the HBR should always be there?
Yeah, I try to have it always there. It's been around the longest, for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's been tested, I should say, right?
Absolutely. All of these birds, we make sure that are tested every week, and all 4 families we've mixed together, and we make sure that we race them all the way out to 400 miles, which I race here at my Loft. My dad lives 10 miles east of me. He races at his place. We compete against each other in the same club. So, he does things his way, I do things my way, and we just share parents to, all of our breeders. So a lot of races, we may even clock nestmates, on the same race. So.
Correct. So with this one, I can feel this. This is buoyant.
Oh, yeah.
This is buoyant, but this is chunky, but buoyant. So what is the diet for the race team?
Oh, we're blessed to be ambassadors for the Versalaga products, so we use Versalaga feed.
Are you particular with the percentage of the proteins?
Pardon me?
The percentage of the proteins that you give for the
you know what? I just use the
because Versalaga has different.
Right.
You know,
so I just go
classic,
from which I don't use the classic during race. We use the the Geary and the Champion.
The Champion.
Yep. And then we also
when do you use the classic though?
I use classic just during like these are my young birds right here.
Yeah.
So like this time of year where there's not a high demand on them and it's mostly just about getting the feathers through. That's when I like to use the classic.
So you can show us your loft, right?
Sure.
We can have a loft tour. So we are here. Ryan Jones will give us a loft tour. So how old is this loft?
Oh boy, 1991 is when I first put up this section of the loft right here. So this part that we're in, my feed room, came later. It was just this loft that, if you want to come around, you can see. It was just this loft, and my dad, my grandfather, myself, and Larry Mitchell constructed this loft, and my grandpa and I did the nest boxes for the old birds.
So this is your fly team?
This is my old bird racing team.
Old bird.
And I just closed it off. In fact, it's got this next section over that door goes through, which I've got it sealed up because anyway. So this section, it's identical in the next unit over, and that's what made up my old bird team. Now I just opened that section up because I've just moved it open for the young birds.
Okay.
So, because they all trap in the same section there where, these are my training crates.
These are your training crates. Did you build this?
Nope. An old gentleman that we used to fly with by the name of Heinz Sawatsky constructed all of these crates before he passed away.
Okay.
But yeah, he used to make all the crates for everybody. Yeah, you can see like.
Oh, this is the one you said.
The Versalaga Energy.
Versalaga Energy.
The Champion and the Geary, and then we also use the DePure. It's kind of like how we cycle through with the feed. We'll start the week like on Monday with barley and DePure, and then move up to Champion, into Geary, and then to Energy.
So these are your young birds, right?
Right. So from this section right here, over this way is the young birds.
Okay. So how many pigeons comfortably it will accommodate?
Oh, well, back in 2015 in this area, I had 115 birds in there, 100 birds for the AU convention race, and then 15 of my own that I flew all year.
So you conduct the AU convention here?
Yeah.
You sponsor?
I was just a guest flyer.
Okay, I thought you did it here.
Well, I did race here.
Okay.
I had the birds here, but I was just a guest flyer. The organization that did it was the Northern Utah Pigeon Combine.
Okay.
So, yeah, Ken, Christopher, Travis Dyson, those guys invited me to fly. It was good. It worked out well. The guys that had their birds over here were happy. We did well. And this is my young bird loft.
Okay, these are the flyers.
Yep. You can see most of them are out in the Fresnos, in the landing areas right now. But
so that's what you mentioned. That
so this is the flip side of the other. This is my old bird section right here. That this is their first day in here, because I was racing old birds, so I had this partition closed off.
Are these one of the characteristics of that one? Look at this, the HVR collar.
Yep, that's the red indigo. In fact, I don't own a red pigeon at all, and you can see I've got one that looks like a white-red grizzle, and that's right out of the red Andalusian to the indigos. I've got another one that looks like a mealy red check. That's just a red indigo. There's a darker indigo. This one would be like a red Andalusian here. She is right out of the indigo stuff as well. In fact,
nice.
you can see she is She's quite fancy.
I like the color of that.
Yes.
It's amazing though.
Yeah, there's the true indigo color as it comes out most of the time. There's another indigo bar right there on the...
Yeah. Because I remember I interviewed Jason Sarret.
Yes, Jason has a few of my indigos.
He has some of your HVRs.
Yes, yeah. Jason's a good friend.
Nice. You do not call this grizzle, right?
Actually, this one I don't know what else to call her, but a white red grizzle. That's what I would dub her as. But nice. I don't own any grizzles, and I don't own any white or any red pigeons. So
because at the head part, you can say it's grizzle, but here it's like the indigo, right?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, the way that the whole color splash scheme is, I would call it grizzle, but she's right out of the indigo line.
So what is the characteristic of HVR that you like the most?
Actually, the feather quality of the HVRs is really what their claim to fame is the fact that they get a power stroke down, and as they come back up, that flight flexes well enough that it gives them power going as they're coming back up with the flight as well. It's supposed to generate them forward. It was what Jeff Van Riel kind of bred into the Van Riels as that set them apart from everything, then created their dominance that they had there for a while him and Huskins had their partnership together and everything. The thing that we love about them is that I can clock and do well with them at 150 miles and race them all the way out to 600 miles and expect to have them perform and do well on the day.
So question, young bird or old bird race?
I much prefer old bird racing. I think young bird racing is it's better suited for those that are wanting to manipulate the molt and everything like that. Really, it's not the natural time of year to race pigeons because they are molting, and it's just, they're young. If you waited to fly them as yearlings, you'd see a lot better performance and a lot less losses. Okay,
and you have your breeding loft in here, right?
Nope, I don't. I do keep a couple of select pair of breeders right here.
Okay.
But no, 99% of all the breeding is done at my dad's house.
Okay, and today we will have the opportunity to meet your dad.
Yes, we'll go from here up to there. I can show you my individual pens real quick. My individual breeding pens. Yeah, I think it's pretty crucial when you're checking out your breeders and everything like that to make sure that the quality of your birds are the ones that are able to come in and do well from 400, 500, and 600 miles. It really is what creates a great line of family, a family line. So these two that I've got in this one, in fact, it's just a pairing I just put together. I haven't even cleaned it out from. So the cockbird was with a different hen most of the year.
Yeah.
And
so these are HVR?
They're HVR. Actually, these two are Van Loon de Velser is what they are, and they're full brother sister.
Okay.
So the guy on the top is our 2017 San Diego Triple Crown winner. He won over $40,000 in the Triple Crown. That's his full sister down below that my dad raced at his loft.
Okay.
She's a multiple-time winner.
So you're doing inbreeding for this too?
I'm doing inbreeding right here on this one. This is the first time they've been together, but she's a 2016, he's a 2017. Okay. And both of them have bred us, between the two of them, they've bred us over $50,000 worth of one loft race and futurity winners between the two. So it's just kind of my basic setup here as far as the individuals go.
And you have babies in here.
I have a baby that I'm finishing raising up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And now we're going to head to your father's loft.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan, and we're going to go head up there.
All right, thank you.